They were hearing.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay, so please take it up from there.
Acts chapter 2, verse 5, and said that, and they were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men, out of every nation under heaven. Now, when this was sounded abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because every man heard them speak in his own language. Every man heard them speak in his own language.
Okay.
So they were hearing a people speaking in their own.
So the question is, what does it take to hear?
Yes, what does it take to hear?
It's sound. It takes sound.
Wow.
It takes sound, audible sound, for you to hear. So they had audible sound.
Yes, they had audible sound.
Yeah.
They had audible sound.
Which were intelligible.
Intelligible, exactly, Daddy. It was intelligible. They could understand it.
And another addition, in their own language.
In their own language.
So it was a defined language.
Very defined language. Very, very defined language.
So this couldn't have been coming from drunken people.
Not at all. Not at all. Drunken men don't just wake up and start saying, and they don't just get up and start preaching.
And extolling the magnificence of God.
Yes.
Normally they curse. A drunken man will curse.
Yes.
Curse and insult people and be staggering. Because they lose their coordination, they lose their tongues, and they talk in what we say by heart.
Yeah.
And how do we even have any reference anywhere apart from here, where drunken men were speaking and people could testify that they were hearing in their own language?
No. Wow. So it was just pure gibberish. They just wanted to. Okay. Wow. Thank you very much. So, Reverend Fred.
It was figment. Other people were doing or saying purely figment of their imagination, and they were trying to intellectualize. They were trying to intellectualize a spiritual phenomenon.
Yeah.
And when we try to intellectualize a spiritual phenomenon, we become, stupid. We become stupid at times because, you see, the spiritual phenomenon is completely different from what we think that we can gather from the world of intellectualism.
Yeah.
Using purely the mind, because it is a spirit thing. It's not just a mind. It's not just in the mind, or what we say, something that the brain had been trained to do.
Okay.
Yeah. Where now in the mind, I'm specifically talking about brain work. It's beyond that. This thing is meta, is spiritual. It was a phenomenon that came out of their spirit man.
Okay.
And that spoke to the outside world.
Yeah.
So they were trying to intellectualize a spiritual phenomenon.
Yeah.
That's why they made mockery of themselves. So in their bid to make mockery of the people, they made mockery of their own intelligence.
Yeah.
So that they didn't end that. They went ahead to say that it was out of pure fanaticism.
Yes.
And because they've taken new wine.
Yes, because normally, when people get drunk, it is true, when people get drunk, physically they get excited.
Okay.
And so they were using that excitement bit that, this could be just pure fanaticism. Because fanaticism is something that comes from, it's not based on intelligence. It's based on emotion.
Emotions, yeah.
And so it's not based on rationality.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fanaticism. It's not based on rationality. It's based purely on emotional excitement.
Okay.
And emotional excitement comes most of the time out of passion. And so they were attributing it. They were intellectualizing things, and so they were trying to find a space for it, because there was no space, there was no explanation for what was happening. And they need to find something intelligible, something credible, something that you can explain logically to somebody and it's going to make sense to the person. Unfortunately, what was happening was beyond them.
Yeah.
So they had to give it a funny name. You know, normally when you are caught in an argument that you are not making headway, one of the quickest ways to try to break even or try to win an argument is to give it a funny connotation.
Yeah, like the SAG grip story.
Yes. Yes. When you give it a funny connotation and everybody start laughing, it gives you the space. It gives you the space to even rethink your thoughts.
Yeah, that's true.
And to come in a much bigger way.
But Daddy, how could they even think that these were Jews?
Yes.
And they were celebrating the feast, and you were already saying that Jews don't even eat.
No, Jews don't eat or drink anything until it's 10 a.m.
Yeah, and it was just about a third.
It was 9 a.m. in the morning, and so Peter spoke the mind of the Spirit. He spoke the wisdom of God.
Wow.
And so when he made that reference to that, they couldn't counter it. Because these people were, I would say, religious Jews.
They were supposed to know that.
Yes, so and a religious Jew was culturally bound not to eat or drink anything.
Yeah, before. Yeah, that's true. Wow. But anyway. All right, thank you very much, Daddy. Let me go on before. All right, so Pastor Faith, after this, they still went on, as Daddy said, that if you know you are losing the argument, now you start, calling it funny names just to buy time for yourself.
Yeah.
So these people started calling them all sorts of names, and even throughout history for the past 2 millennia, we've gone through, the Quakers, the Rollers,
Yes, Amy Sample McPherson.
Yeah.
And